Good afternoon, good night, and good morning. Thank you for tuning in to RETV News Break. I'm Tyren.
And Nicole with your weekly RETV News Break. Every week, Ty and I bring you news, trends, and more with a positive spin. For our first story, anything can happen at Essence Fest, including a show-stopping proposal. Pinky Cole, the founder and owner of the incredibly popular vegan food chain Slutty Vegan, got the surprise of a lifetime when her partner, fellow entrepreneur and philanthropist Derek Hayes, popped the question while the two were on stage as speakers on day 2 of festival weekend. The pair, wearing matching ensembles, were sharing their wisdom at the Essence Marketplace event that provides a platform for Black-owned merchants. It was there that Hayes got out of his seat to publicly honor Cole and ask for her hand in marriage. "You've had my back for a long time. I want to make it real," he remarked. It was, of course, a very emotional moment, with Cole in tears. She called it one of the best days of her life. When asked if she was saying yes, Cole responded, "Of course I do. F yeah, I do." She is currently expecting the couple's second child. To show his appreciation to her and love for her, he put a gorgeous rock on her finger. It's fitting that such a moment, this heartwarming proposal, will take place at the Essence Festival. The couple was featured on the February-January Essence cover, where they talked about balancing business and love. While she has built a successful business with vegan food, Hayes is the CEO of Big Dave's Cheese Steaks. Initially, such a difference in food they serve was seen as a potential problem, but they worried less about the differences in business and more about how they make each other feel. "To be honest, there was a business concern that I am in the vegan community and he's not," she told us in the couple's cover story. "But what I realize is, who cares what people say? Even though we're different, we can still exist together and still love each other because we are tapped into each other's hearts." And she added, "Whoever's got something to say about that can kick rocks." So congratulations to the soon-to-be Mr. and Mrs.
Kick rocks. I agree wholeheartedly. Who cares what other people think? So long as it satisfies you, your boo, and your pockets, don't nobody care what everybody else think. I mean, don't get me wrong, because you're gonna have your audience or your people who come and support you. Considering the fact that Slutty Vegan is such a huge name, not even just in the Atlanta, Georgia area, but up and down the East Coast. Yes. I know from an article I read a few days ago, actually a couple weeks ago, that she's expanding, like you just mentioned, to the Charlotte, North Carolina area. So who cares if they got, I like cheesesteaks, and I'm not a big vegan person, so that doesn't mean I would knock her vegan place just because I like chicken cheesesteaks.
And you would try vegan food, right?
I would try chicken cheesesteaks, sir. So bring your chicken cheesesteaks to the Charlotte, North Carolina area
and
as
your
well.
Vegan food as you have
planned. Well, she is bringing Slutty Vegan to.
I said as she has planned.
Well, I mean, either way. But congratulations, though. That's what's up, though.
Yeah, and rock your rock.
To get proposed to.
He did very well
at Essence. That's pretty dope, because that's in front of a lot of people.
Who cares being proposed to in front of a lot of people?
I know, I said that's dope.
What's on the finger is what counts.
Oh, jeez. Yes, it is what counts, but that ain't gonna sustain your marriage.
And
what's on your finger.
Being proposed to in front of a whole lot of people.
Technically, it could, because you can look at it as that's a lot of pressure, that I did this thing publicly in front of all these people. Now I gotta make sure I gotta do what I need to do to sustain this relationship and marriage, because I don't want to let all them people down, even though I just said who cares about all them people because they got cheesesteaks versus Slutty Vegan. And who came up with the name Slutty Vegan? That's what I would really like to know.
I think it's an excellent name. Perfect marketing, because it draws the attention.
It does, but there's some people who hear the name Pinky and think completely in Slutty Vegan and probably think of an old 90s.
And that's their business.
Okay, that's their business. You're right. So in our business, why newscasters always do it? They have papers and they just, yeah. These papers have nothing.
You're so dating yourself. You do not see newscasters with papers anymore.
Yes, they
have
do.
All electronics.
Yes, they do.
With their phones.
There's something, they be like, let's see, next story. Anyway, next story. The San Jose Sharks' 3-month search for a general manager ended with a barrier-breaking hire as the team made longtime NHL forward Mike Grier the first black GM in league history. "It means a lot to me," Grier said at the introductory news conference Tuesday. "It's not something I take lightly. I realize that there's a responsibility that comes with the territory, but I'm up for it. How can I carry myself, and how can this organization carry himself? I think we'll do well with, and hopefully we'll leave a footprint and open some doors for people to follow." Grier fills the spot that opened when Doug Wilson stepped away for health reasons on April 7th. Wilson had taken a leave of absence in November, with Joe Will serving the interim role since then. Team president Jonathan Becker and Grier emerged from a pool of dozens of candidates because of his experience as a player, scout, coach, and executive over the last few decades, and his commitment to building a winning culture in San Jose. But he acknowledged the history-making nature of the hire as well. Quote, "I hope you do serve as an inspiration to lots of people, and that I hope you are the first and certainly not the last," Beckler told Grier. Grier spent 3 of his 14 seasons in the NHL with his Sharks from 2006 to 2009. He retired in 2011 after playing 1,060 career games and has spent time as a scout in Chicago, an assistant coach in New Jersey, and most recently, the hockey operations advisor for the New York Rangers, where he was given many of the responsibilities of assistant general manager. The hire comes less than a week after Will announced that head coach Bob Bogner and 3 of his assistants wouldn't return next season. Will said he made the move 2 months after the season ended to give the new general manager a clean slate. Grier has a tough task in San Jose in trying to rebuild a team that has missed the playoffs for 3 straight seasons for the first time in franchise history. Grier will also have to get to work quickly dealing with the draft Thursday and Friday, the start of free agency next week, and need to hire a coaching staff and build up the front office. Grier said the draft and free agency are immediate priorities, as well as trying to create more salary cap flexibility, if possible, before he turns to the coaching search. Quote, "I just think that the challenge to try to get everything in order as quickly as possible, but still doing it the right way and being thorough," he said. "It's all a challenge, but everything I'm looking forward to." Grier said he's not interested in tearing the team down and doing a complete rebuild, but acknowledged that taking one step back to move forward may be necessary. San Jose has many high-priced veterans on the roster and could look to either trade defenseman Brett Burns or Erik Karlsson, or buy out defenseman Mark Edmondson Vlasic to create more flexibility. "It's definitely a balance," Grier said. "I don't want to get ahead of myself and be the kid in the candy store and be like, I can go get this and I can go get that. We've got to stay patient and stick with the vision that we believe in and not rush things. I think we'll set a path and stay the course and not rush anything and get out ahead of ourselves and end up digging a hole that we can't get out of in the future." Grier comes from a family of successful sport executives. His brother Chris serves as the general manager of the NFL's Miami Dolphins, and his father, Bobby, served as the longtime coach and front office executive for the New England Patriots and Houston Texans. Grier said he's been preparing for this since he was about 10 years old, in discussion he had with his brother and father. "Growing up, we talked about the challenges of building rosters and things like that at dinner," he said. "I would want to talk about football, and they would want to talk about hockey. I lean on them a lot. They get a different perspective because of the sports, but definitely I lean on them a lot and trust their input. The NHL has been stressing diversity, with several women also getting opportunities in front office positions and on coaching staffs." I think that's super dope, super dope to see an African American take leadership in the front offices of NHL. As we all, what I say we all know, but a lot of us know there are not a lot of people, or people of color anyway, in the NHL. There are some, people don't realize there are actually
You mean as far as
there are some
players
brothers,
or
yes, that are
front office
players.
staff?
Well, I don't know about front office staff, but I know there are a few players. Not that many. I know there's one in Vegas. I know there's one like somewhere else.
DC?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't think so. But there are quite a few. There not quite a few. There are probably a handful of brothers and other men of color in the NHL. It's a predominantly white sport, which is cool. I ain't gonna lie. I've actually taken to it. I've actually, was it about 2 years ago or 3 years ago? I actually win the Nationals, DC Nationals. Had an opportunity.
Or you win.
No, when the DC Nationals had an opportunity to go to the Stanley Cup Finals, I actually watched them on TV and found interest in NHL hockey. I thought it was pretty dope. And don't get me wrong, I'm not watching the whole season and probably wouldn't watch a half a season. But I can get into it like similarly, I watch the NBA Finals. That's probably all I watch of NBA. I watch when they get to the playoffs and in the finals. And so I can probably do the same thing with NHL when they get to the playoffs and in the finals. Yeah.
Well, it's not surprising that there aren't many of us in that league, being that the first requirement is you got to know how to ice skate. And I don't know too many brothers who know how to ice skate. You're the exception to the rule. We all know that.
Well, I'm just saying, because I know how to ice skate. I grew up, me and my good buddy Kevin, we used to actually go ice skating all the time. Now, am I like, some phenomenal figure skater? You probably are. No, I'm not. But I can ice skate. I can keep my balance. I can go around the ring quite a few times, and I can probably even spin around and go backwards for like 2.5 seconds. 2.5 seconds. Spin around and go tss, tss, and then I stop because I don't know how to keep going backwards. So, yeah, for like 2.5 seconds I can turn around and go backwards.
No, but that's dope. I'm going to have to look up a picture of Mike Greer. I can't picture him.
Well, he's an African-American male that actually is in the front offices.
Blank Sherlock.
Hey, I'm just saying, Mike Greer, we appreciate you for,
yes, we do.
And the opportunity
Defeating
that
the
you have.
odds.
Exactly. And having the opportunity, and the San Jose Sharks for actually giving you that opportunity that you well deserved.
He worked for that.
As I said, he well deserved because he's obviously had the experience being a coach, being in other front office positions, and being a scout and so forth. So yeah, he worked for it. So, but they had to open up the opportunity, for him and others to apply. So he applied, got the position, and good job, Mr. Greer.
And praises to you for running towards challenges, because this challenge I'm pretty sure won't be an easy feat, but you're up for it, and I'm excited to hear about what comes up the next season.
And it's even dope that his brother and his father are have experiences as well, considering the fact that they are in different sports, but they also have front office experience, and even since he was 10 has had the opportunity to have these type of discussions. So he's pretty much
that's
made for this position. So shout out to you, Mr. Greer and the San Jose Sharks. I'm going to have to actually root for y'all next year in the Stanley Cup Finals. Unless you play Washington, and then I'll, have to root for my Nationals. Not my Nationals is baseball, but you know what I'm talking about. The hockey team there in DC. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to figure it out in a minute because I can't. Got a brain fart right there.
I thought it was Nationals too. And no,
Next
it's not
story.
on that paper.
It is my paper. It's the what is the team? I'm gonna figure it out.
To support the mental health of Black men, the Confess Project was born. Now it has become a space to tackle difficult conversations and begin a journey toward wellness. The mental health barbershop movement was founded by Lorenzo Lewis and stemmed from his upbringing. Lewis was born in prison to an incarcerated mother and later dealt with depression, anger, and anxiety. Lewis almost re-entered a correctional facility by the age of 17 before changing his life for the better. Being born in a prison to an incarcerated mother and facing my challenges throughout my childhood by going to a behavioral health hospital and being incarcerated at the age of 17, I recognized my challenges were unique. Lorenzo said to Afrotech in an interview, at the age of 4, Lorenzo had the shared Black experience of going to a beauty salon which was owned by his aunt at the time. Here, Lorenzo was exposed to a sense of community and good facts as it became a space to not only find grooming services, but to feed those who were hungry. The supportive village was enhanced further for Lorenzo after he befriended a barber named Sylvester, who became his mentor and father figure. It was this encounter that instilled a sense of belonging and community for more Black men. There was always a sense of belonging and a sense of support with him. And I always took that into my adult years, even as I went to other barbershops growing up. I always looked for that Sylvester in other men for the same support, love, and gentleness, and someone who also was a father figure. If we think about our incarceration rate, the substance abuse, families being displaced, people always looked at the barbershops to bring that sense of family and joy that we need in our lives, Lorenzo said. We're hoping to allow the community to see that there is an opportunity to be heard and being seen by going to a barbershop. Also, it will impact and change the lifespan of Black community members daily. A foundation for supporting Black men before launching what has now become a national grassroots movement, Lorenzo acquired a decade of experience serving as a behavioral health technician. He recognized a lack of diversity among psychiatrists led to a lack of cultural competency, which would be vital to engage intentionally with patients. Lorenzo worked to compensate for what the system lacked, embracing cultural humility while becoming a listening ear to patients. The Confess Project is a result of Lorenzo's commitment to ensuring Black men are at the forefront of mental health services by empowering barbers across the nation. According to Afrotech, over 1,300 barbers are in over 46 cities have been certified through the Confess Project to become mental health gatekeepers. The process adopts 4 cornerstones, including active listening, validation, positive communication, and stigma reduction. By becoming certified, barbers are opening important conversations with Black men in a place of refuge while simultaneously waving a green light to reduce community violence, keep communities safe, and reduce domestic violence. Barbers are currently serving up to 25 clients per week. According to research from the Confess Project, 90% have confirmed a preference for mental health services from the barbershop over a clinical service center or a therapist's couch. Talk about filling the gap where there is a significant need.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely like this approach, and I know we had a similar discussion about a story a few weeks ago about a group down in the Atlanta, Savannah-ish area that was doing something similar. This sounds like this is a little bit more widespread, and I definitely like this approach because we're so quick to talk about what other cultures are doing and how so many people and things are against us and so forth, but we have to cut it off at the head where, you know, we have to look out for our own, meaning our own Black men. We have to, you know, tell our own Black men to, you know, stop killing each other or, you know, put down the guns, put down the weapons, you know, let the grudge go. Yeah, you got beef with somebody. Okay, cool beans, but let it go at the end of the day. Or, you know, Black men, I need you to stay home with your, you know, in the families of your wife and your kids or, you know, whatever the case may be. Those conversations are not being had. And this is the perfect place to have a lot of those conversations in the barbershops by people who look like you, people who you respect, people who, like you said, he met his Sylvester, who was his mentor when he was growing up, you know, so now he's kind of, I guess, that Sylvester, you know, to, you know, other young men or other, you know, not even just young men, even some of the older men that come in and get their haircuts or their beards trimmed up or whatever in the barbershop. When you start having these conversations in these places like barbershops and places where you feel a lot more comfortable, I think it makes you think when you actually step outside of those doors.
I think so too. And I think it further, you know, validates our Black men when they first can be validated by each other. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I definitely, you know, give a shout out to him for what he's doing and what he started, and not just him, but all the other barbers that are taking, like you said, there are 46 that are actually certified.
46 cities with 1,300 barbers that are certified.
Yeah, but they're certified is my point. You know, so they're not even just going to get their barbering license and then making sure they're certified in their state as far as barber, you know, and cosmetology is concerned, but also then taking it a step further and saying, you know what, let's give back to our community. Let's do something instead of just complaining all the time. Let's do something by offering these counseling. You just said, you know, a good percentage of them actually say, you know, prefer a barbershop shop over, clinical service center, or a therapist's couch.
Yep. I just came up with a great idea that I think, and there, you guys, we have it on camera. You saw his eyes roll. He will play that again for himself to see. But don't be knocking my ideas.
I'm not knocking your idea. Go ahead.
I think it would be great for us to contact Mr. Lewis and to see if the Man Cave Show could host a live session in one of the shops, just having candid conversations with men, if they agree for it to be aired.
Yeah, I think that would be super dope. I really do think that would be dope, for, not just his shop, but there are, other shops that if you want to host, Millionaire Man Cave to come in and, the fellas can come in and actually do a shop, or do a show or and talk about things that are on the minds of the men and, so on and so forth, and just, air it there in their shops as well.
I think the women would love that.
I'm sure you all would. Maybe we can do some shows in the salon too and talk to you women. Yeah, okay. Sure.
What? We talk too.
Y'all do. I'm sure y'all do, but y'all don't want to talk when men are in the room.
Why not?
I don't know, because I don't know what y'all talk about.
I think your special show with the women invading the cave proves me right.
I guess. Whatever.
Because typically that is one of the higher rated shows when women invade the cave.
Since we're talking about RETV News, we will move on to our last and final story.
Carry on.
On my paper. Kentanji Brown Jackson was sworn in as the 116th Supreme Court Justice and the first black woman to serve on the High Court on Thursday afternoon. Justice Jackson, 51, replaced Justice Stephen Breyer, who she clerked for during the Supreme Court's 1999 to 2000 term. Breyer's retirement was effective at noon. This is the first time in history where white men are not the majority on the Supreme Court. Jackson joins 3 other women justices, Sonia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, and Amy Coney Barrett. It's the first time 4 women will serve together on the 9-member court. Jackson's appointment came after a campaign promise by then-candidate Joe Biden. When Justice Stephen Breyer, 83, announced his retirement in January of 2022, the opportunity for Biden to follow through with the promise finally presented itself. After a contentious confirmation process, the Senate confirmed Justice Jackson's nomination in early April by a 53-47 mostly party-line vote that included support from 3 Republicans. As she was sworn in by Roberts and Breyer, Jackson's husband, Dr. Patrick Jackson, held the 2 stacked Bibles. One was a family Bible, the other one was donated by the Supreme Court Justice John Marshall Harlan. During his 34-year tenure on the court, Harlan, known as the Great Dissenter, Justice Harlan was the only justice to vote no in the 1896 in Plessy versus Ferguson, which upheld the constitutionality of racial segregation under the separate but equal doctrine. With the full heart, I accept the solemn responsibility of supporting and defending the Constitution of the United States, administering justice without fear or favor, so help me God, Jackson said in a written statement. I am truly grateful to be a part of the promise of our great nation. Justice Jackson is the first justice in 55 years since Thurgood Marshall, the first black justice appointed, to be appointed with experience as a criminal defense lawyer. Congratulations, Justice Kentanji Jackson.
I'm so happy for her, especially after the grueling hearings that she had to go through just to get to this point.
And that wasn't even the first time that she had to go through something like that. That was like her second or third time that she had to go through such, they literally they sit at this table and they just grill you
for 10, 12 hours.
No, it was days.
Well,
yeah, 10, 12 hours at a time. Yeah, per day. You're right.
Thank you.
But I mean, the simple fact that she had to just sit there and take it and answer questions that had absolutely nothing with her qualifications of being a justice on the Supreme Court was just ludicrous in itself. But then to, sit there and to hold her composure when you're being attacked from all different sides and all different people and all many different days, time and time again, it takes a strong person to be able to sit through and go through something like that. And so usually, like I mentioned earlier, where there's mostly men who are, deemed or thought of to be able to be strong enough to go through something like that. But to see an African American woman or a black woman to be able to sit there and hold her own, like it wasn't nothing, like she rightfully deserves this position. I mean, shout out to you for sure.
She stood in her power, and I'm pretty sure knowing that she's the most qualified out of not just the justices, but even the senators and in Congress, who were, in my offense, peppering her with ridiculous questions in some regard. Having that as your backbone to know that I have more credibility than any of you sitting up here.
Exactly.
That would have given me solace as well.
Yeah, had she said that would have been perfect. Do you know I can do your job and this job and the next job that you can't even. That would have been pretty dope.
This is true.
That would have been pretty dope. So I do look forward to, considering the fact that the Supreme Court has recently just overturned, the Roe v. Wade situation and so forth. I wonder if there would have been a little bit different had she been on the court at that time. So I really look forward to seeing what opportunities and what things that she's able to put her stamp and her mark on as a Supreme Court justice.
Yes, more to come.
Because we already know that there are some other African Americans in the Supreme Court that ain't worth a quarter, and we ain't gonna mention no names. But we thank you for tuning into this week's episode of RETV News Break.
Be sure to subscribe to the RETV YouTube channel and Facebook pages for more great news and shows.
Why are you laughing? I mean, it's true. You act like I'm telling stories that don't exist. Yes. Also, RETV is available on the Roku app. Download the RETV Roku channel today to watch this and many other entertaining and educational shows. And we look forward to seeing you again right here on RETV. And until then, be blessed and be great. I got my papers. Forget you.
Hey, it's your girl Tia Robertson. I'm the host of Entrepreneur Insider. Right here on RETV. Every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern for entrepreneurs and news that you need to know about. See you there.
Welcome to What's Going On? My name is Demita Joe. Each Wednesday, you can find me here at 3 p.m. I'll be over here discussing different things that are going on and try to bring you a boost of positivity for your week because we all need this. We're going to share some feel-good stories. We might find a hometown hero. We may take a look at some trending topic. And sometimes we might even find a lesson in a not-so-warm and fuzzy story if we can. I'm Demita Joe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode right here on What's Going On?
Tune in to Millionaire Man Cave, only on Relationship Entertainment Television, Tuesdays at 8 p.m.